I'm very deeply honored. So, Auntie Adesuwa, let me just say it in public. You are, when Uncle Joe, permit me, I have home training. We used to call our senior by name. When Uncle Joe saw him for the first time on Instagram, I just stumbled on his post and I connected and I just sent a message. I said, I connect deeply with this, all the record line. That was immediately after UR3 2024. And it was just daring faith to say, what's the worst that will happen? He will tell me no. Let me ask. And I started looking for someone that knew him, And someone said, I know him. Please help me make the connection. It was the same thing. I've seen Auntie Adesuwa from a distance. And I want to have, there's an aura you have that I've admired since I was a young girl. I've been seeing you from far, from Benin. And I've always said, and it is the power of visualization, like Mr. Joe had told us today, about seeing something and telling you and positioning not just your mind, but your spirit and your thoughts to say, that thing, I want it, and I'm going to take the action to get it. When we met in Warri, I was like, oh yes, one step to it. One step to it. I was like, okay, so, but I didn't quite connect fully. But I was like, hey, please give me, I hope she would. The way you answered was so warm. It was so, okay, just send, it was so warm. And thank you. Thank you, Uncle Joe. And then my PR connected me with my ancestor. I called her my ancestor because while I was just trying to familiarize myself with her for the first time, I found out, she was one that told me, I found out we were in the same alma mater. I said, 85 set. My ancestor. I call the people, so we have the 70 set, we call them the oracles. The 80 set, we call them ancestors. We are the 90 set, we are the seniors. She is the 80 set. So I was like, you are my ancestor. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my ancestor. And my mentor from a distance. You are mentoring me. Just know. I don't need to come and say, be my mentor. No. You are mentoring me, and you've mentored me in so many ways. Please put your hands together for Auntie Adesuwa. And Uncle Joe, you are mentoring. When we came to Kiza, I came to smell. We were smelling. I was seeing and visualizing. Yes. So rest assured that we're doing that. But our discussion today really is on resilience, and it takes a lot. And that is why you've done TW Magazine for years. You've been in broadcasting for years. You have a good reputation. You have a good aura. You are a sweet human being. In my opinion, you've not allowed these things to make you become Voltron, the defender of the universe. You're just amazing. She's an amazing mother of 6 children. Wow. And she carries all of them. Not 6 children, I beg your pardon. 6 adults. Wow. And an amazing wife at that. What kind of level of resilience have you had to pull through to become all the so graciously?
I'd like to say, first of all, maybe your first global conference is going to be in Dubai.
Yay!
So I'm speaking it.
Yes.
So Dubai is next year. It's going to happen. Or, we're going to Dubai, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. And let me just say, first off, I think it was Forever that says, when they are describing you, right, you're not sure whether the ground should open and swallow you. But, true humility is accepting and knowing what you are. That's who I am. I'm a warm person. I bring the sun wherever I go.
Amazing.
That's just me, right? And I've lived it and I've spoken it, and that's why. And the thing is, true humility is not, I can't do it. When she called me, first off, when I saw her, I was taken by her persona.
Yes.
And I am actually wearing red somewhere. You can my watch, so there'll be some level of red on me. And my glasses, no, that was standard. I had to wear the red glasses today so that I will be showing, because in respect of what you do, right? And true humility is knowing that there are more than one star in the sky. And that's where it starts from. When you know that there are many stars, then you can always begin again. I call myself the apostle of beginning again. And I just wanted to comment because it's a response to what Mr. Osawaye has said. I was nodding my head and I was just looking. Let me speak to that. The two things he said, something about tapping into what you have. And I realized, you know how something comes into your spirit, that tapping actually is a good thing. And tapping is just creating a path. I don't know people where come from Delta, whether they tap on wine or tap rubber. You know what happens? They cut a path, and that thing has a constant stream, right? There's got to be a path, knowing that where one come, another one will come from there. Pardon my pidgin. I always revert to what I'm comfortable in. So you ignore, but I know you understand, right? So when you have that kind of mentality, you have a path that many dreams can come through that path, right? But as they pass, Mr. Osawaye say, don't believe in shortcuts exist. They're shortcuts. But shortcut can't lead you. It's not as good as the real path. It can lead you somewhere, because when you go down the long route or the long route, what do you see? The scenery. You smell. You might stumble. You start and you go, and you have a richer end. So when you talk about what I have become, everything that I identify with, I thought it's best to link to that. Your why is the most important thing, because that's where it starts. That's what makes you want to go. Your why. And I was not even 10 when I realized that communication was what I would do. And it's only, like they said, 2020 is, hindsight is 2020 vision, right? I look back, I was just about 9 when I saw that. I say this everywhere. Maybe, pardon me if you've heard it before. When I heard the Coca-Cola advertisement, I said, I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'm ancient. I like to buy the world of Coke and keep it company. It's the real thing. The ad started with one person, it ended with several people. Now, the message was so clear. In less than 1 minute, Coca-Cola can unite the world. It's refreshing. How did I see the world? I saw Ankara. I saw suits. I saw Agbada. All in one story. I said, man, that's what I'm going to do. Help people understand things. I love that, to be able to create. But I ended up in broadcasting. I wanted to be PR and advertising. So it shows that you might be going somewhere. You see, it was Steph that talked about the vision, the dream, where you're going, right? And it was Forever that commented on that thing you said, and I must take it back. When she said there were 6 people, he said, God has shown you a hall with millions of people. You walk in there and you see only 6, and you're like, man, only 6? But God shows you something. He doesn't tell you when. He never tells you when, right? But it will happen. And if you are not resilient, it won't happen. And I have had to be resilient at different times of my life. One of them was having the number of children I had. First of all, you have many. How are you going to manage? But I look back now, they are all adults. Our challenges are different today. Then it was, how will I take care of them? Now they've all graduated. Oh, where will they marry? They marry. Oh, which child they go born? So there are different things that would happen to you at different stages. But you just have to remember that when you fall, you stand. Yeah. So I'll stop there for now.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm just going to move to you, my ancestor. And I know you do a lot of things for women. And how have you, in the middle of all of this, been able to navigate? And also, because it's one thing to have a vision, it's another thing to have a man that helps you to support that vision. And it's another thing to have that internal support. How would you advise the young lady or the woman who wants to thrive, or who is even yet to get married and is probably having that anxiety of, how do I start this thing and visualize without it affecting my home, without it affecting my connection with whoever I'm going to get married to? You know, find people say they don't want to get married. How do you?
Okay, before I do that, I first want to acknowledge what you're doing. It takes great vision to do this. And it's interesting because the first time we spoke was on Monday. But the Bible says, know no man after the flesh. And it was a spiritual connection from the onset. And so thank you for having me. Auntie Adesuwa, you know, I came to you and I was telling you about how I've known you from afar too, and you've always been an inspiration. So I salute you. And Mr. Osawaye, I have been to Kiza in Dubai. In fact, the day I came, I was asking for you, and they said you were not there. And I just want to acknowledge you for the great vision that you had, and it's a great testament. And you know, many times they always talk about the bad things that come out of Nigeria. So it was really so nice to be able to see something positive out of Nigeria. All right, back to the question. Very interesting question. So I am married. I've been married. Last year we celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. Yes, yes, yes. People are like, how can you be married for 30 years? Yes, I've been married to the same person. To the same person. And honestly, I do a lot of things. And I have young ladies come up to me and ask me, how are you able to do it, number one? How are you able to do it, and still maintain the balance that you have in your home? Because I always tell them that work-life balance or work-life integration is a passion that I have. And there are a few things I will say. Number one, for young ladies, I want you to understand that the man that you will marry is going to be an important stakeholder in your life. And so you must be able to marry a man that believes in the vision that you have. I say a lot of ladies, when you are courting, people are talking about things that are not important. You need to be talking about your vision and begin to understand how that person is reacting or responding to what you're saying. Because there are some men that cannot handle the vision that God has given to you. And if you marry a man that cannot handle the vision God has given to you, then you will not get their support when you want it, right? So for me, one of the things that I've been blessed to have, apart from being an executive coach, I'm also a pastor. My husband is a pastor. We co-pastor. And we have been common stakeholders in everything that we do. So as I'm supporting him with my full chest in the ministry, he's also a stakeholder in everything that I do. I remember when I was going to launch my coaching career, I kept saying to my coach then, I cannot do it without my husband being there. I cannot do it without my children being there. And everything that I try to do, I carry my husband with me. I carry my children with me. I honor the sacrifice that he makes. I remember the day I launched my coaching business, and I said to him in front of everyone, I said, I thank you for allowing me run with the vision that God has given to me. Because it's not automatic. It's not everybody, it's not every man that has, number one, the grace, the humility, and the strength to acknowledge that God has given this woman a vision. And I want to be able to help her to amplify that vision. So it's very important to honor the sacrifice. And I remember there was an event that I knelt down in public and I thanked him. And I remember that day my brother was like, hey, you knelt down? I said, yes. Because at the end of the day, if my husband says to me, you cannot do it, there's nothing I can do, because as a Christian, I understand I'm a person under authority. And so it is so important to get the buy-in. So that's how I've been able to do it. There is nothing that I try and do that I don't, number one, sell the vision, because that's the only way that I can get the support that I need. Because at the end of the day, whatever I'm doing, no matter how successful it is, if my home is not in order, it's very, very shallow. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to do what you're doing, maintain some level of balance, and carry all the stakeholders in your life along with you.
All the stakeholders. I think please, can you put your hands together for that? There was something she said when you talked about him at the beginning, when we're having those conversations in those courting and dating phases. There's some significant things that you should start talking about from then. From then. And really, thank you so much. I want to use this opportunity, sorry to just chip this in. Please celebrate my backbone. The day he told me he's hiding somewhere, he's hiding somewhere. He's using face cap to cover his face so you won't see him. But there are two significant things, and I'm saying this, I've not said it to him. There was a day he said, you don't know what you have. That thing failed me. He said, you don't know what you have. You are still looking at it small. And even in my mind, I became afraid. But I'm saying it out for the first time. Thank you, Z. Thank you. Thank you. Uncle Joe, I'm coming to you at this point to ask, I've seen many men that just gush at what you do. They are in awe at what you do, at how you have established a business. I mean, it's one thing. I like when you were talking, you said, First of all, no man of our kind, no one of our kind, mean our complexion, had been able to set up something like that in Dubai, and you did. And there are many men here that have great ambitions. You said a bit about it, but taking it, breaking it down in a way that they would understand. What is that word that you can give to a man that has a vision, that has a family, and he wants to build for them, but it doesn't quite know how it's going to come together? But you have put something together. What will you tell him as was your resilient blueprint that helped you to be all that you have become thus far and still becoming?
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for that question. I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Talking to that man, there's only one thing I can tell you. It is to trust God. Yes, you will have your vision. You brought the team together, knowledge and all that. But if God does not build, the builder builds in vain. So I'll say you must put your complete trust in God and trust the process. The process being the spiritual process and the physical process. They have to work together. That's one big advice I would give. And then what is your why? Why are you doing it? For us, it was not just setting up a restaurant. It was trying to tell and make a statement of who we are and what we carry and what we represent. So we were looking at showcasing our originality, our authenticity, and the spirit of excellence that we carry. When they deal with a lot of people like us, there's a lot of sloppiness, and then there's a lot of lethargy and unprofessionalism that is associated with some of the things we do. Unfortunately, things are changing, but for us, we wanted to prove to the rest of the world, Dubai has 200 nationalities. So it's a beautiful state to showcase the African story and who we are. So it was bigger than just a restaurant. It was to create a mind shift in the minds of the people that have been engaging with us on a certain level. So it's to trust God, have that vision. You see, this thing about vision, you're not the one that forms it. Something is put inside you that you will never get rest or fulfillment till you birth it. So sometimes you're talking about some big things and some dreams, and people are looking at you and saying, God, what do you see they find? What do you still they find? But you see, it's not about me, it's about purpose. And it's not about my purpose, it's the purpose of the one that has sent me here to accomplish what he wants to accomplish through me. So that trust in God is essential. And that daily walk with him, taking step by step as he leads you. Everything else will fall in place. But you see, this process has to be led, because it takes time to establish that trust. But when you start to understand the way it communicates with you and the way it speaks with you, and you start to apply it and you start to see results, there's a likelihood that you start to trust it more and more. So for an entrepreneur, whether you're a man or a woman that wants to get into something, lay it out before God, because he's the one that put the dream in your heart in the first place. And let him be the owner of the business and you just the steward. Once you own it, there's too much responsibility owning. But when you are a steward and the owner takes the full responsibility, it's easier for you to cope on a daily basis.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for that. Thank you so much.
So I thought I'd just comment on something you said about when you own it. I just thought I should say a little anecdote about when I was having my kids, right? By the time I was having my third, and then I had this conversation with God and said, be open to life, you're praying for people. I remember that one of the things that came out clearly to me, I think I was having number 5. I said, God, which one you did? People will laugh at me. Because I was a journalist. In fact, my friends were already laughing at me as if you didn't go to school. Meanwhile, they didn't know what covenant I had with God. Then I heard very clearly, if they laugh at me, they laugh at you. He said, God, now you then they laugh. I said, that's me, so forget it. So it wasn't really about me anymore. If they laugh me, now God, now they laugh. You know what I mean? So I kind of identify without, don't be the one in the driver's seat. Let it be the person who has given you that dream or that decision or whatever, because it's the person that will help you go on.
Thank you. I really love that. Please, can you put your hands together for them? Thank you. Because we're out of time, we're just going to take one quick question to all. Let me just start from my ancestor here.
This ancestor thing.
It's going to stay with you. If you're going to give one word of advice to someone, a business owner, let's use a business owner, because I know you've been doing this you've been in the legal space in short for 30 years plus.
Yeah.
And all you lawyers, yes. But if you're going to give that one advice to that business owner, male or female, what would it be?
Okay, we've talked a lot about why, so I don't want to go that way again. But I want to talk about passion, and I also want to talk about authenticity, because I find that people do things that they are not passionate about. So even if you have because if God gives you a vision, it will give you the drive, the passion to accomplish it, but also to be authentic in doing what you do. A lot of people are doing what they're doing, and they're doing it the way that other people are doing it because they feel like that is the way you should do it. But I find that what creates longevity and sustains your vision, your business, is your authenticity that you bring to it. It is the who you are. I go to a lot of places and I don't sense any authenticity in it, and it really honestly always makes me to move away. So be your authentic self. Realize that if you have a vision, if God has given you a vision and you understand your purpose, that if you do it in an authentic way, that is the way that is going to make it to succeed. So that's what I'm going to
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Adesuwa, on to you, a very quick one. What would be, yes, in a similar thing to, what are quick tips that you can give us to help us stay the course?
So I did write something down. Let me just quickly read it. And I know that what they call mnemonics, like we call it acronyms, work. You guys have heard of ADHD, right?
Yes.
The ADHD I want to leave you with today is that if you constantly question, you will learn more.
Yes.
And when you learn more, a stop never stops you because you are adaptable. That's the first A. Adaptability is key. An adaptable person is, if you put down for water, you go swim. If you put down for ground, you go waka. Whatever the environment, you know what I mean? So even if I can't, I will learn it. Like now, I didn't know how to swim until I married. I'm still in lesson 10, Sha, don't worry. I've been married for 36 years. So, but I can enter water because it's a life skill. I had to learn it, right? Adaptability. And the second D is doing. When you have adapted, you must do something. You must move, right? The third D is humility. Be humble to know that, when your child falls, it gets up. Why? Because it doesn't really care. But when you fall, people are laughing at me. They've seen me fall. And, no, I can't get up. So if you fall, several people have fallen, but they got up. And diligence. And diligence is not just diligence is you start today. The palm tree is the best example of resilience. You guys know how it works. It can't stop the storm, but it rises from every storm. So you can't stop the storms in your life, but you can rise from all of them if you're adaptable, if you keep doing, if you are humble, and if you're diligent.
ADHD, different perspective. Thank you so much. And finally, Uncle Joe, what are the quick tips to give us today? Quick practices that you engage. What are the practices you engage that help every morning or every day? Say the things we do every day determine eventually how we become. What are your everyday practices that have helped you thus far that you believe can help us?
Number one, I am a life learner, so I try to equip my mind with information from everywhere. I read everything. I'm a news hound. I love information, especially in the tech space. So number one, be a constant learner. Number two, find a way to get the right people around you. When you have the right people around you, it is easier to execute. A lot of times, the vision is not easily executable because of the team. So you must focus on your team and not just create the team, but also celebrate your team. My title in my different organizations is Chief Inspiration Officer. So my role is to make sure I am the biggest cheerleader of my team, giving them an amiable space where they can flourish and they can be the best of who God has made them to be. So constantly learning, getting the right team, and as my sister Adesuwa said, you must do it, because faith without works is dead. You cannot just be running and be saying faith, faith, faith. You must put the action in play to make things happen. I think those three things is what I can share.
The different businesses. So you didn't tell them that there's more than Yorubas call it Onokon Woja.
The different businesses, right?
Different businesses.
Sir, please can you name the different so they will hear the
so
different? It's not just Kiza restaurant. It's not just Kiza restaurant. There's Kiza Bespoke. There is.
Yes. Those are the ones in Dubai. So we have three verticals. When we ran the restaurant for about 9 years, 10 years, we decided to morph into a lifestyle company, and we added two other verticals. We added a bespoke tailoring atelier, which is similar to what you get at Savile Row in London, if not better. We also have a real estate brokerage firm where we give you an opportunity to own a piece of Dubai on a top level. So that's what I do here. But I call myself a serial entrepreneur. In Nigeria, I've been running my telecoms managed services company for 20 years. A lot of people don't know about that. But we started during the days of V-Mobile, Celtel, and all that. Managed services is still running. And we are winning awards, even though I've been living in Dubai for 12 years. The company in Nigeria is still winning awards from companies like American Towers and when we used to work with Huawei. I also do a little bit in what we call subsea work in oil and gas, ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, and drones. So we have a company that does digital mapping with drones, and then we do subsea work, inspecting pipelines and all that stuff in Nigeria. So
when he's saying all of this, what's coming to my mind is, remember he said he used to be in a one room in London.
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm not even hearing what he's saying now. I am hearing that he wants you to be in a room. If he was resilient enough to dream and smell the Bentley from that room, and presently he has multiple businesses in Dubai and everywhere. If Joe Osawaye can do it, then somebody here can do it.
Absolutely.
That's what the resilient story of UR3 is all
Mr.
about.
Osawaye, I will be in Dubai in March again. So
okay,
hopefully I can catch up with you this time.
Yes.
Definitely, by God's grace.
Thank you so much. Because of time, we have to round up. But have you been blessed this morning? Yeah. Have you been inspired? Can you put your hands together, please, for our high-level plenary? Thank you, Auntie Adesuwa. We're going to take a picture.
No, the other speakers might be.
The other question,
but it's okay. Maybe we should take one.
Any questions?
One
any
or
quick
two questions. Please
okay.
let the question be question. Any questions? Don't contribute in the question. Just question.
So while the questions are coming, I thought it's important that you all know that we also make mistakes. Absolutely. You know, when we're telling you things like this, is like, you know, there are some things that we haven't done. Do you know how many things are on my list that I haven't done, right? And I've had to recreate. So it's not as if it's automatic. Yes. We still make mistakes, even I, right?
Yeah, and I was saying to her on Monday when we had the conversation that, because you were asking me, I'm always so upbeat, and I said I go through down times.
Yes, you do.
So we saying to you that be resilient does not mean that we have not had our own lows. And I said to her, I'm like the phoenix. I keep rising from the ashes, you know. So it's about being able to rise above adversity. Because resilience, one thing it does is that it builds character. I always say resilience is like when you're trying to stretch. You know, if you have a rubber band it's like this, but you can stretch it. That's what resilience is all about.
Yeah, okay, question, yes, please, quick.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for this privilege. My question is, sir, you made mention of handing everything over to God, like before you start off. So I want to ask you, because I know there are some of us, sometimes I think that way too, that will say, but I am made in the image and likeness of God. Even before I was in my mother's womb, God formed me. So he already knows what I want to be, like who I will be. Yes, so and then finally I came into this world. I keep reminding God again, like a lot of us, because I won't exempt myself, a lot of us fall into this, that God already knows me. He already knows what I want. He's my father. So why should I be reminding him all the time? Please, can you elaborate more on
Okay,
this?
as in it's like God doesn't used to hear because Trump is true. Yes, actually, because sometimes, like, if you knew me before I was born, yes, sir. Because even me, I'm in that boat. Because, like, if you knew me, why do you have to make me to be suffering for UR3 like this?
Because
Yes.
knows what you have inside
Yeah,
of
so
you.
yes, please. Thank you so much for that question. Even I am asking it.
Um, this journey is a journey of faith. When we look at all the examples from the beautiful book called the Bible, how long did Abraham wait to get his promise through Isaac? We say Abraham's blessings are mine. Are you ready to take the pain Abraham went through as well? You see, the promise of God is without repentance. Yes, it will come to pass, but you must develop a relationship with Him where He sees that, yes, your trust is completely in Him. Then it will start to, what is important for Him is your character, is you, is not that thing you want to achieve. Once you achieve the character state that He wants you to be in, what does it cost Him to bless us? Nothing. It says 1,000 on the cattle, the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him. The hearts of kings are in his hand. He can direct it as he pleases. So it doesn't cause God to bless us. The problem is that we are not, he knows that he's not going to give us a blessing that would destroy. He doesn't want to give us a blessing that would destroy us. When we who are evil know how to give good gift, why would he give you something that would destroy you? I can tell you, what you are asking for, most times, if God releases it when you think He should, it would destroy you. And He doesn't want to destroy you. He wants to give you something where you have the container and the capacity to handle it and to bring and glory to His kingdom. Otherwise, you will mismanage it and whatever will happen. But what I say, stick to God, hold on to Him. He makes all things beautiful in His time. Just trust Him and it will happen.
Please
Thank
put
you
your
very
hands
much.
together for Mr. Joe Osawaye, Auntie Adesuwa, Onyenokwe, and my ancestor.